Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mupo and Friends. I'm Holly Lombardi.
And I'm Michelle Mupo.
And we are brought to you by Mupo TV. You can catch all our shows on www.mupoentertainment.com. And you can also live chat with us every Sunday at the premiering of our episode on our YouTube channel at Mupo Entertainment. Michelle?
And join us at Mupo and Friends, and we will bring you an inside look at your favorite celebrities and community leaders' lives, their careers, their passions, and what they are doing to actually impact the world today. And this is what we do at Mupo and Friends here, so thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. And before we introduce our guests, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back. All right, and we are back on Mupo and Friends. Our special guest today is a talented actress and producer from Calgary. She's graced television and film. She's also earned her place in the St. Michael's College men's rugby team. You've seen her in The Crossing, The Good Doctor, Supernatural, to name a few, and as her role in Amanda Bobbsey, half of the Bobbsey twins in season 2's Nancy Drew on the CW network. She's been quite a success, and you'll also see her in the upcoming Crossroad Mysteries, Riddle Me Dead, and Christmas in Crumbs. Talented, athletic, and beautiful. Please welcome Aadila Dosani. Hello, Aadila.
Hello, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you for being on here.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to just hang out and chat.
Because I grew up with Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, okay?
So, Nancy Drew was one of my favorites. I had the entire collection.
Right.
I lived in those books. I thought I was Nancy Drew.
You and me both. Honestly, my mom has the entire collection, and we would just pretend that we were the most intelligent sleuths. I mean, we would solve every missing sock mystery, I feel like.
So what were your expectations when you were going to the job at, on the Nancy Drew set?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, and to be very candid, initially I was nervous as heck going in. I mean, one, obviously, because we started filming season 2 coming right out of the pandemic up here in Vancouver. And so, that's always at the back of your mind in terms of how things are going to roll out and how different things are going to be on set. But two, just going in to work with the Drew crew, because everyone is so tight and all these friendships are already formed and everyone loved each other. And so I was just so nervous and worried and scared that I wouldn't fit in. And, it's so innate to just feel like you're going to be an outcast, but it was completely the opposite. I mean, my expectations were blown out of the water, because I gotta say that everyone on that Drew crew, everyone on that set, all the actors are amazing. And I am not lying. Like, this is honestly one of the only sets I've been on, and which I hate to say, but that where everyone's kind of been so inclusive and had welcomed Praneet and I with open arms. So like, my expectations were blown out of the water. It was awesome.
What is it like playing a twin? How did you prepare for that on your own and prepare for that with your co-star? Being a twin, you had to really have that character down as far as the characteristics and the likenesses.
No, you know what? It was quite wild. Initially, I thought it would be tough because I guess as an, actor artist, we're so used to playing those romantic relationships and the friendships and all of that. But um, funny enough, Praneet, who plays Gil, Bob Z, and we both grew up in Calgary. So we're both from the same town. We didn't know each other, but I think when we both found out we booked the roles, that innately just connected us right away because we had so many common interests. We kind of grew up the same way. We knew the same spots. We hung out in the same spots growing up. And so I feel like it was probably easier than it would have been because we did come from the same hometown and kind of had the same beliefs and all of that growing up. And we instantly clicked. I think it would be so much harder to form that chemistry and that bond and that relationship if we hadn't initially clicked. And so I got to be honest, like it has been, and it is really easy because we just get along so well. And it's funny, like we deal with a lot of codependency issues on the show, but I always say now, I'm like, I am very codependent on him. I call him about things all the time, and he's always just like, yo, girl, you gotta chill. Like things will be okay. So it's been awesome. I mean, and especially working with an actor who's so giving because we all innately just get along and we got along right off the bat. It's been really wonderful to just kind of sit into things and have the freedom to explore instead of having to do the work. We can just live in the moment. And I think that's the magic of our relationship. Kind of, Yeah.
So, like the character on the show, has your curiosity ever gotten you into trouble?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like all
yeah.
the time. I feel like I'm always getting into trouble. I'm learning boundaries still, but not in a bad way. And I think that's the one thing that Amanda and I have in common is that we're both so curious. I just, I don't like taking no for an answer because I love learning about things and experiencing things. And so, yeah, it gets me in the deep end for sure. I'm always in hot water, sticking my nose where it doesn't belong.
No, we have a question, and this is an actual fan question. Have you ever had a close encounter with the supernatural, or would you like to have one?
I think I have. And yeah, okay. Ooh, I mean,
She's intuitive. She is intuitive. I could feel it.
right. I think I have actually had an encounter. You know what? I'm very spiritual and I do believe that there is some sort of energetic afterlife. I kind of grew up believing all of those things, kind of just with how my parents raised me. And so there was actually, I was in Kitchener, Ontario, which is a small town. And it's pretty close to Toronto. And I was visiting my grandparents who lived there at the time, and they have it's like a city of windmills. There's a lot of like windmills there. And so every summer I'd go and my grandparents would just, I guess, take us out, do activities. My sister and I would go visit. And there was like a Heritage Day happening. And we were, how the public can kind of go into these heritage homes and sites and stuff like that. And so I went off exploring, and I had never, and I will never forget this day, experienced a moment where something like chills go up your spine and all the hairs on my arm just like they were at full alert. I didn't know what it was at the time, right? You have to talk to my grandparents about it because I was like, what just happened? But I think I did experience something when I think I was like 7 or 8, I remember. And so that memory has stuck with me. But I would like to encounter something now because I think I know how to protect myself. So that spirit and I may be able to have a conversation versus when I was 7, where I was like, not today.
So I am very intuitive, and I felt that she was intuitive when she came on. I could just feel it. So I'm going to give you a little insight. When you're 8 years old, everybody is intuitive. So as you grow older, you put a shield up. And I know this because I'm very spiritual as well. But I want to, we'll have to talk about that at another. We're going to have to bring her back, I think, just for a spiritual show, Molly.
Yeah, I would love that. And it's funny,
Great.
I'm honing into that. I just got a pendulum and we're kind of bonding right now and stuff. So I'm very much into the energies and yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're
Yeah.
going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back with more from Aadila Dosani. All right, and we are back. We're back at Mupo and Friends. Michelle?
Yeah, no. So we were talking. I am very intrigued. You were the only girl on the men's rugby team. How
Yeah.
did you manage that?
Wow.
Oh, I
They torture you?
honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's kind of like what I said before. I hate when people tell me I can't do something. Um, and maybe it's an issue I got to work through, but especially when like a man tells me I can't play a sport that I know I can play, I just get real fired up. And at that time, so I was in my undergrad there, and at U of T, the downtown campus at the University of Toronto is split. It's kind of like very Harry Potter. So it's split up into little colleges. And there was, yeah, no female rugby team at the St. Mike's College at U of T. And there was no rule saying I couldn't play. Like it wasn't like explicitly men or boys only. So that first day of practice, I went to practice. I signed up and I it I don't know. I honestly think proving the boys wrong is what drove me to stay on the team for those 3 years because it wasn't easy. I cried a lot. Like I would have to pretend to go to the bathroom all the time just to cry because I was like, I will not let them see me shed a tear on that field. But it was tough, but I feel like if I hadn't had done that and stuck with it and gone through all those growing pains, I would not be who I am today because it just built my backbone. And it like physically wasn't easy either cuz like listen, those boys were strong. They were training. Physically they were stronger than me. I mean, I was probably a little smarter, but
Definitely smart.
Definitely.
always smarter.
The training must have been extremely rigorous.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. We practiced about 4 times a week, and then the games were on the weekends, and against the different colleges there. And then we would also have to do our own like strength training and cardio training and stuff on the side. And at that time, I was in the theater program as well, so it was really tough because that required quite a few hours, and we had a lot of group commitments and all of those things. But yeah, no, it was really tough. I would go to the gym all the time on my own, and the only times I would be able to go were like at the crack of dawn because all the other hours were accounted for. And I met this wonderful, wonderful girl, Cindy. I don't know where she is right now, but she was doing a lot of track stuff. And so I would just watch her work out and train and then kind of copy her because I was seeing in those months that she was just getting stronger, and then we became really good friends, and she basically was like training me and helping me strength train so that I had the power to go out and play on the field. And so Cindy, if you're watching this, thank you. We lost touch and I don't even know her last name, but yeah, it was tough, but she kept me really motivated to keep going. So
That's a great story. Did you feel that the guys ever like went easy on you because you were a girl, or did they play full out?
oh no, they played full out. They tried to get me off that team every minute of the day. I remember the captain of that team would take me to Tim Hortons, which is like our national
They have the best coffee.
They have the best coffee. And the Timbits.
They do.
Donuts. Oh,
I
I
don't
love
think we have
sour
that
cream
here.
glaze. What?
Tim Hortons.
No, you
No.
know what? They
Yeah.
don't have it, I don't think, in the United States. They may have it
Yeah.
in New York City at Penn Station, but they don't have it really in the United States. It blows away everything, like even
Yeah.
Starbucks. For me to say that, it's it,
It's a big deal.
yeah. Like I went to Canada. The first thing we did when we were in Canada was get. They were like, "You have to
Oh,
try the coffee," and I was like, real big on Starbucks, and they were like, "No, you have to try this coffee." And
yeah.
I said, okay, sure, because I wanted coffee, and when I tasted it, I was like, oh my God, could we get like a big gigantic pot of this? Because we were traveling to do a show, and we were on literally in Canada driving on an Indian reservation, and I didn't know what kind of coffee they had over there.
Yeah.
So it was just crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's the
Holly,
best.
we're gonna have to go to Canada.
Yeah.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I like my like fancy chai lattes with almond milk and all that. So if they have that.
That now. They're even doing like Tim Hortons lattes and ice cap. I mean, their ice caps are amazing. Good. I mean, if you like iced coffee, but it's the Timbits, the little, I think you guys call them donut holes.
Oh
I don't
yeah, yeah.
know.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's like the trademark, just little amazing little
The
bite-sized
munchkins.
donuts.
I think Dunkin' Donuts calls them munchkins, right?
Yes, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Little round circles that go in the yeah.
Mhm.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. But
so good. Sour cream glazed. If you guys are ever at Tim Hortons, it's the best.
we'll come down there because we have some friends that are filming down there as well. So we're gonna
Yeah,
I
have to
got
take it as soon as this whole ban releases. We're definitely gonna take this on the road. I have a feeling because
yeah,
yeah.
we've met so many people from Canada. We know a lot of people in Canada now.
You have to come visit.
Canadians are cool.
they really are, and that's
Hey,
really where all the movie business is heading to.
hey, I have a question. Tell
Mhm.
us about the I am size sexy movement.
Yeah. Yes. So
Yeah.
it's a movement that started with Additionelle, which is a clothing store brand. That's I think it's international.
Mm.
America's gotta have it. I don't know. But they started this movement quite a few years ago, and I would always go there to shop because my sister shopped there all the time. And when I went into their store one day, I was like, what is this? And so I looked it up, researched it, sent them emails here and there, and just kind of became part, like an ambassador as a part of their movement. But they're all about body positivity and working with women who have just insane body dysmorphia issues, which we all have being
Mm.
in this industry. It's just really tough to navigate when you don't have someone to kind of, you know, when you don't have someone who's standing beside you, kind of trying to break those barriers with you. And so, just all about a healthy lifestyle, but embracing the body that you have, and that every body is perfect as long as you feel you're at your healthiest, your healthiest version mentally and physically. And so it was a movement that I'm really in love with. It kind of just tilted away and I stopped getting emails. And so I gotta figure this out and follow back up on that. But it's, I mean, hashtag we are all size sexy, and I feel like that movement, I found it in a time when I was in a really rough place in this industry because I had a few experiences where I had like lost a job because of the size of my body and stuff. And so it really helped kind of bring me out of that hole. So it was just so great to have that.
Yeah, the industry can be tough because I mean, on camera, you you gain pounds.
Yeah.
So off camera, a lot of people feel that, they need to be extra smaller. And there are some of them are just so thinned out and because they're afraid of those extra pounds that they're going to put on in the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I was younger, I was thin, but you know what? I'm 53 years old, and I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. If they don't like me for me, then it's their loss, you know. And plus, I have Holly. You know, Holly kind of like I can't explain it, but she's like she got mad at me today because I wore a T-shirt. She's so prim and proper. Everyone needs a Holly.
No, it wasn't the t-shirt. She had a conflicting logo. There was a lot of logo going on.
But you're right. Everyone needs a Holly.
But that's okay. She's good advertising campaign.
Yin and yang.
Yes, exactly.
And honestly, when somebody says no to me, it means yes.
Yeah.
And every woman in America should feel that way.
Right. Exactly.
Because, you know what? They tell me, "Oh, you can't do something." I'll do it just to piss them off, to be honest with you.
I always say no is new opportunity.
No means yes. We should get shirts. No means yes.
I like
hashtag.
that.
We're going to do that.
Or new opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. We're going to do
I think
that.
we should. I love that. And it's true. I feel the exact same way as both of you. No does mean yes. And who are you to say no to me? I will choose to say no if I want to.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But Holly, don't you think women today kind of feel like they're always worried about what other people think? Like Adelia, she's younger, obviously, but in our era, we get trapped by it.
Well, I think there's different women, different eras, right? And a lot of women, I noticed from before, of course, that's the way society was raised to, women were put in their place. They were told to speak when spoken to not interfere, to, a lady is always quiet, and, she doesn't run up and talk to jump in on a man's conversation. And and I think now with the younger generations, it's changing, and it has changed significantly. We're people are learning, and especially women, to really have a voice. Women have a very strong voice. They've always had it, they just never used it as much as they are now, really, like, authentically speaking with their mind.
No, it's so true. And I find in, like, my generation, I mean, I'm in whatever, I'm in my 30s. It's fine. I love it. But even now, like, I find I have conversations with my friends, and we're in that generation, right? Where, like, we're seeing the younger generation just put it all out there and be like, this is me. I don't care. You love it. You love it. You hate it. I still love it.
Yeah.
And then we also are part of that generation where we were exactly put in your place, and we had to have some sort of decorum or be a certain way or fit in. And so many of my group of friends and I, we find it's funny because we're finding our voices now, but it's been so ingrained in us, like a habit, to be a certain way and to present ourselves a certain way, that I'm finding it's like taking that inspiration from that Gen Z generation. What is it? The young ones?
The Gen X?
Gen X, the TikTok generation. Because I still don't.
Or is that Gen Y? Gen Y?
No.
Gen Y.
Is it Gen Y? But just taking
sure.
Yeah.
Google.
Younger age.
Yeah. The younger age, where we're like the mix of both, and so we feel both still, which is a really funny conversation. It's quite interesting because it's like you got to find your voice now, and it's like a rebirth because we're being influenced on both ends equally.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's quite fascinating.
Well, I have a question for you, but we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. So stay tuned for more with Aadila Dosani. And we're back on Mupo and Friends with our very special guest, Aadila Dosani. I wanted to ask you, you've got two upcoming films, both due in 2021. The Crossword Mysteries, Riddle Me Dead. Can you share with us about that?
Yes. Oh, I love the Crossword Mystery series. Again, I feel like I'm born to like do something in the sleuthing universe, because all I do is like work in solving mysteries.
This is a continuation, right, of the first? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. So the Crossword Mysteries are Lacey Chabet. I'm so bad at pronouncing her name, but I love her so much. Leads them, and she's basically a crosswords extraordinaire who solves mysteries. But it's with the Hallmark Channel, and honestly, it's so great. I love that series, and I love those mysteries. They're just so heartfelt and heartwarming. And I always like to say, I feel like I love those movies of the weeks because it feels like you can live in like a really wonderful French vanilla fantasy for an hour and a half where everything's just going to be fine because it's going to be cleanly tied up and put in a box, and the bad people are going to go away, and it's just very beautifully vanilla that way, and I love it. And I love working with that cast, and Lacey actually is so incredible. I remember when I first met her, I was so nervous because, like, who doesn't love the Mean Girls? I mean, I was such a fan. I'm such a cult follower of that film. And she is legit the nicest human I've ever met. And I look up to her on how to treat people. I mean, she knows every crew member's name. She's always saying please and thank you. She's so gracious. And like, you always go into these things with preconceived notions, and like, boy, was I wrong. She's so wonderful. And so it's always so awesome being on that set. I think it premieres April 11th on the Hallmark Channel, but it's a good one. It's a great little mystery. Yeah.
And you also have Christmas and Crumbs coming out. When is that? I take it that's coming out in the holiday season.
Yeah, I think probably between Thanksgiving and
I love Christmas, so I'm excited.
What's that character like for you?
Oh, Rena, she's so cool. So this one is really special because it is one of the first, I think, the first to be filmed Christmas movie centered around a South Asian family. And so it was really, really special filming that one. And I can't wait for you guys all to see it because there's so many cultural traditions and stuff like that we've mixed into to Christmas, to like this North American Christmas that we all know. And it's just an amalgamation of both of those worlds coming together. It's about like a South Asian North American family. And so it was wild. Actually, Nemette, who plays my mom, were both from this. So her and my parents are both from the same town, and we both speak the same dialect. We speak Kutchi and Gujarati, which are East Indian dialects. And so it was wild because we legit were just chatting the whole time. We had so many secret conversations because I've never met someone who speaks these very regional dialects. And so it was really, really special just being able to be authentically myself.
What does that dialect sound like? Can you do an example?
Yeah, so Kutchi and Gujarati, they're okay, yeah, what should I say? I
My
can
family actually speak Gujarati. My cousins are Indian.
Get out!
I
Wow.
speak Gujarati and Hindi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, I don't.
And Benjal are their names.
I love that. I wish I could speak Hindi. I can understand it a little bit, but I can't speak it. But what should I say in Kutchi? Oh, okay, I'll be like Kemcho, which is like, how are you?
Wow. Kemcho.
Yeah. Do a little
Kemcho.
Come on.
A little Gujarati. Okay. Sukarete. So what are you doing?
Sucarete. No, that's
Yeah.
Spanish.
A little bit, right? Yeah.
Sucarete.
No, it's funny because everyone says, oh, like, I don't have Indian relatives. And I'm like, I do. They're Italian Indians. That's what we call them.
You had Indian in your chart, in your DNA.
No, my cousin Joey married Kirti, which was from Bangalore. And they actually had a kid, and the kid is beautiful, the most beautiful color, skin, beautiful eyes, smart as heck, let me tell you. Yeah, very smart. She's like in college and she's only 17 or 18.
Oh wow, what? That's amazing.
She's in med school or going
Wow.
to medical. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
Wild.
And I have another friend that speaks Gujarati. I have a couple friends that speak Gujarati, and they're very
Gujarati. Wow, learned something new. So you always learn things here on Mupo and Friends. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I want to know about the Spice Girls because you said Posh was your favorite, I heard.
Yeah.
So do you do any music?
I used to do quite a bit of musical theater. I actually used to, I mean, if I picked it up, maybe the muscle memory will come back to me, but I played the flute for like 9 years. I was in a marching band in
Nice.
Calgary. Yeah. Fun fact. I wasn't
Wow.
very good, but I tried again, right? I was like, I just wanted to do it and prove people wrong that I could play When the Saints while marching.
Very cool.
Super cool. So I should actually get a flute and see if I could pick it up, but I don't really play any other instrument. I used to dabble on the keyboard and stuff like that, but I used to love to sing. I don't know, I don't really sing anymore. I only do it in the shower. So maybe I just need to
So
do it.
if one of the Spice Girls came up to you today, what would you do? If they said, "Oh my God, Nancy Drew. I know you from Nancy Drew." What would you say?
I would faint. I don't even know if I'd say anything.
She's like you. Michelle once
I've done that.
fainted in front of
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
Shut the front door.
Like for real fainted, like
I got
passed
faint.
the
I
hell
got very
out.
nervous.
I mean, I can relate. What? That's wild.
Twice, right? They resuscitated you and then you fainted again. Yeah.
What is that story? That's something we need to hear.
Well, should we do it now? No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you on break because I don't want to. Let's just say it's kind of embarrassing, but we'll definitely tell you on a break.
Yeah, that's the backstage story.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Real privilege. I'm excited.
Well, we're gonna take one more quick break and we will be right back. And we're back. We're just goofing over here and having some fun backstage. We are back on Mupo and Friends with our special guest, Aadila Dosani. Aadila, it's been such a pleasure having you on our show. I wanted to ask you, you have been the consummate, artist life, starting out, coming out here, working on film, television, everything from getting the agent to all the ins and outs of the business. For all the women out there looking to be in your position, do what you're doing, what advice could you give them, especially things like agents and handling the business, the non-glamorous side of it?
I mean, I think first and foremost, I would ask yourself, and I know this is going to sound so weird, but ask yourself, do you love to do anything else? I don't know. And if the answer is yes, I feel like cool and amazing and go explore that. But if the answer is no, then like it's going to be a real long, tough journey, but you're in the right place. Cause I just, you got to love it. There's no clear trajectory. There's no ladder you can climb, stuff like there's no rhyme or reason for anything, like even what agent you get or who responds to you or who falls in love with your energy, and so you have to just go into it. One, knowing that this is like the only thing you want to do and you love to do. And two, just wearing Teflon, and practicing that, I think right off the bat, which I didn't really do. And the big thing, I feel like, this annoys me so much. This is the big thing that nobody talks about in like acting school or workshops or your agent. You got to learn how to manage your money in this industry. It's insane. And I think that's the one big thing. Start early, learn how to budget, learn how to manage your money, because that financial burden can manifest itself physically and it can make yourself sick, and then you don't have the capacity to work as an artist. But if you learn that right off the bat, it won't break you. but nobody talks about it. And I know it's kind of like very all about commerce and kind of dumb, but like it's not glamorous. It boggles my mind that like not even your agents talk to you about that, you know, is
That is such a great tip. And we're actually going to be releasing a show on our platform that is all about money and finances and managing it. It's a woman that's advocating for women in finance who was in the entertainment industry before and says exactly the same thing. Actors either don't worry about it because they don't have any, or when they have it, they haven't been educated on what to do with it. So this is really, really a key point.
yeah. And I've seen people lose everything. Like you work so hard to get a little nest egg, and because there's no knowledge or nobody like showing you the ropes on how to manage it, it goes and it's gone. And I've had colleagues who've had to declare bankruptcy, and it's heartbreaking. You work for years to build something and have something of your own.
That's everyday life. And
Yeah.
you know, they don't teach you that in college. They don't teach you how to become a millionaire in college.
No.
Now,
No.
I was reading Alana's article that she did on you, and and I love the fact that you didn't need a lawyer to change contracts. You did it yourself. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was that like? How did you tell your first agent you didn't want to work with them anymore? What did you do?
Well, I think I had the universe backing me, I think a little bit too, because my first agent, I moved cities as well. And so luckily she didn't represent she didn't represent talent in Vancouver. But it was my second agent that I kind of left, yeah, without that contract. And listen, it was scary. And I thought that I was going to be in hot water. Honestly, I thought that definitely legally there would be something binding me and I would just be hooped for quite a while. But I did. And I know this sounds so floofy, and I had no money to get a lawyer. And so I just had to trust my gut and trust that whatever the universe had or whatever was out there had my back. But I just had to navigate it from within, and I put my foot down, and I had my solid reasons as to why that relationship wasn't going to work, and I had proof and backing of why it wasn't going to work, and I made sure I talked it out. I had it on a piece of paper. I had an email drafted so that it was in writing, and then when I phoned her, it was just, I know this is like so grade school, but succinct. And I put my foot down, and I basically was like, I'm doing this for me, so that me as a human can get out of this very unhealthy relationship, and I will deal with the consequences later. But because it came from a genuine place, I guess the universe had my back and I didn't have any consequences, just was able to move forward. And I know that sounds
Right.
so like, you know.
No, you were being true to yourself.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
were being true to yourself
I love
and
it. I love
really,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And when you
great.
authentically are, the best outcome will come. There just has
Right.
to be no sort of malice behind it, you know.
Right.
And no, blood. Thank you. Around, because I would have had to pay a hefty fine, and I didn't. So,
Michelle, you had another question. I know she has some stuff she
Well,
wants to ask.
okay, so who do you like working better with on Nancy Drew? I don't want her to get in trouble with any, but
Oh,
like,
don't put
who
her
is
on the
your favorite?
spot.
Because she was in, see, the thing is, she did her research obviously when she went in to do Nancy Drew, and Nancy Drew is a big deal. It's almost like a
Oh,
Harry Potter.
yeah.
yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, it
what was the
is.
first, like, who did you want to meet when you went on set? Like, who was the first person you were dying to meet?
Well, of course, Kennedy, who plays Nancy Drew, mainly because I just really love her energy. I didn't know her, so going into this or anything about her, but obviously, like in this world of social media, you kind of follow people, and I was like, she's actually so raw and cool and real. I, you know, what's funny is I didn't really. Who did I mean, I don't really know if I was fanning out too much because I was so nervous that I wasn't gonna like fit in. So I was in my head, to be quite frank with you.
Holly told me never worry about anything in your head. You just got to feel it in your heart, right? I
Yeah.
remember you telling me that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be
Yeah.
be in your heart. You can't go wrong if you're in your heart. If you're coming from your heart, everything that it flows. It's genuine. Yeah.
That's so true. Although I was like nervous to meet Alex, who plays Ace, because I knew, I mean, at the store, the cat's out of the bag now, but we were gonna have like, we were, I mean, obviously I'm like his love interest for this season. And so I feel like that was always a worry, was more super nervous about how we would get along, because new character coming in the season, let's be real here. The cards are out on the table. If that doesn't click, you're done. I know I probably will get in trouble saying that. It's fine though, whatever. But you know,
What was one of the most special moments on the set?
you know what? I feel like the most special is when everyone is together, because okay, everyone in the Drew crew, like they can all sing. It's insane. So like I love it when we're all working together because everyone just breaks out into show tunes. It's wild.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like Tunji, who plays Nick, always has like his little mini speaker, and he's always like playing music in between scenes. So whether it's like it's literally like singing a Sondheim to like Etta James to like
Oh,
Red Hot Chili Peppers to like Jason Derulo, everyone is just jamming out with
you're
music.
naming my tunes.
Yeah. So
You had to go way back. No.
Etta James to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's
yeah,
so me.
right? You and me both. I'm like, yes. So it's honestly a jam session. I love working with like it's the best part of the day is when we're not rolling and we're in between setups and the music goes up and we get in trouble for it.
Well, Aadila, it has been so great having you on, finally meeting you, coming to life and for us, and you are just as beautiful on the inside as you are on the outside. So look forward to seeing your movies come out this year. And before we go, we wrap, we like to do a fun 3 fill in the blank phrase or sentence. So I'm going to start
Okay.
and you finish it, whatever is in your heart, whatever comes to mind. Are you ready?
No.
Drum roll, please. um, what I would tell young people with body dissatisfaction.
You're beautiful exactly how you are. Don't change anything about yourself.
The most rewarding part of my life.
My family.
One of the quirkiest things about me.
I love pickle juice and ice cream. It's weird.
Wow.
The tart and the sweet, it doesn't curdle. I don't know, man. It's like a good combo in your mouth. Maybe not the next day, but it tastes nice.
Thank you, Aadila. You are so real. I love that. I love that. Look for Aadila Dosani in Nancy Drew on the CW network and streaming on the cwtv.com, and the upcoming Crossword Mysteries Riddle Me Dead and Christmas in Crumbs, both due out in 2021. Actually, Crossword Mysteries is out April of 2021. So that is this month. And Christmas in Crumbs will be out later around Christmas season. You can follow, like, subscribe to Aadila, Aadila, at Aadila Dosani, Aadila Dosani, on Twitter and on Facebook under Aadila Dosani, on Instagram at Aadila Dosani, and LinkedIn under Aadila Dosani. And now that I've spelt it for you, you can't miss it. As always, thank you for tuning in to Mupo and Friends, courtesy of Mupo TV. You can catch this episode and other episodes at www.mupoentertainment.com. That's www.mupoentertainment.com. Until next week, this is Holly Lombardi with our special guest, Aadila Dosani, and our host, CEO, and mastermind of Mupo and Friends and Mupo Entertainment, Michele Mupo. And right now, we are over and out.